We live on a planet that is always moving, right now. There is no explosion, no blinding flash of light. No one screams. In a moment so short, no clock has time to record it, Earth stops spinning for just 1 second. Not the end of the world, not science fiction, just 1 second. The moment this planet stops doing what it has done for over 4 billion years. You don't feel the stop, but your body does. Not because you are lifted upward, but because everything around you is still moving at more than 1,600 kilometers per hour. The air, the oceans, the cities, none of them stop with the planet. And in that single second, what we call normal no longer exists. And no one on Earth has time to understand why. We often think of Earth as something solid, stable, still. But in reality, everything around you is in constant motion. Earth rotates once every 24 hours. The atmosphere moves with it. The oceans move with it. Every person, every building, every city has adapted completely to this motion. That is why we don't feel it, why we aren't thrown from the surface, why the world feels calm. The movement is so stable, it disappears from our awareness. Motion becomes the background. Life is built on top of it. And the most dangerous thing is not movement that is too fast, but movement that is suddenly interrupted. In this scenario, Earth does not slow down. There is no warning tremor, no gradual change. It stops instantly. The planet's surface freezes in place, but everything else does not. The atmosphere keeps moving, the oceans keep moving, and human bodies carry the velocity Earth just lost. For 1 second, the surface of the planet becomes a massive obstacle. This is not a vertical impact, it is a horizontal shear. There is no explosion. Instead, the entire atmosphere becomes a global wind, moving faster than any hurricane in history. The oceans do not rise gently. They continue forward by inertia, forming walls of water that sweep across continents. Cities do not vanish in flashes of light. They are pulled violently out of equilibrium. Structures designed for stillness, forced to absorb sideways forces they were never meant to withstand. Everything happens in silence. There is no time to react, no time to understand what is happening. Just 1 second. After exactly 1 second, Earth resumes its rotation. But the world does not reset. The atmosphere and oceans are now out of sync with the planet beneath them. They must adjust, and that adjustment is not gentle. Inertial forces reverse. Pressure systems collapse and reform. Stress ripples through the planet's crust. Not one disaster, but a chain reaction unfolding across the entire globe. Earth does not split apart. Gravity does not disappear. The planet is not thrown from its orbit. Earth is massive, resilient enough to survive a 1-second interruption, but life is not built for shocks like this. For Earth, 1 second is nothing. For human civilization, 1 second is the line between order and chaos. We like to think of Earth as something solid beneath us, a platform on which life exists. But Earth is not a foundation. It is a system in motion. Life survives not because the planet is still, but because its movements are continuous, balanced, and predictable. Day and night, winds and ocean currents, climate and ecosystems. Break that continuity even briefly, and the system loses balance. Earth does not need to stop for an hour or a day. Just 1 second is enough to remind us. Life does not exist because the world is motionless. It exists because the world moves in exactly the right way. And the most unsettling truth is not the disaster itself, but the fact that we live our entire lives without ever noticing how completely we depend on motions we cannot see, cannot feel, and almost never think about. What follows is not destruction, it is adjustment. In the hours after Earth resumes its rotation, the planet looks familiar but behaves differently. Atmospheric patterns no longer match the ground beneath them. Jet streams shift, weather systems reorganize, storms appear where none should exist. Oceans take months to settle. Currents weaken in some regions, intensify in others. Coastlines are reshaped, not by impact, but by imbalance. Earth's crust remembers the shock, not as a single crack, but as stress, distributed unevenly across tectonic plates. Earthquakes follow, not immediately, but unpredictably, as the planet releases stored tension over years. Human systems struggle more than the planet itself. Satellites lose synchronization, timekeeping systems drift, navigation grids require recalibration. Not because technology failed, but because the reference point it depended on briefly changed. And then there is memory. No human remembers the second itself. There was no sensation to recall. But the evidence remains everywhere. In records that don't align. In infrastructure rebuilt slightly differently. In coastlines redrawn by forces no one witnessed directly. Scientists argue for decades about what exactly happened. Was it rotation? Inertia? A momentary decoupling of systems? There is no perfect explanation. Only agreement on one thing. The planet did not break, but the illusion did. The illusion that stability is permanent, that motion can be interrupted without consequence, that the systems beneath our lives are simple, controllable, predictable. From that day forward, Earth is no longer described as solid ground. It is described as what it truly is. A moving system that allows life to exist only as long as its motion remains uninterrupted. And every day after, when the planet spins without incident, when the sky behaves as expected, when the ground feels still beneath our feet, we are not witnessing normality. We are witnessing a balance that continues to hold. For now.